Hi there! In this video we are going to discuss why selecting the best iPhone or iPad matters. Hi there! Welcome to the Legally Blind Geek YouTube channel. As the title suggests, we're going to talk about things we need to think about when selecting the best iPhone or iPad for an individual's needs. Whether they're, an older person that's coming to terms with age-related vision loss, or a legally blind person such as myself that uses both the iPhone and the iPad to create this kind of content. If that's something that you find interesting, stick around. We're going to share some ideas, some tips, and opinions with you that I believe you're going to find helpful. If you find this kind of information useful to you, consider subscribing. To all of our subscribers returning to watch this video, thank you very much for all your support. And as always, in the description box below this video will contain some affiliate links to all the stuff that we talk about, that we recommend, and some useful SEO tools that we use to fine-tune these YouTube videos so it makes it easier for you to find. Having said that, we're going to get into the comparison. What to think about, what to consider, because everybody has their wants, their needs, their desires, and in today, as important as any of that is budget. So a lot of the devices that we're going to talk about, iPhones and iPads, they are available through Amazon and other retailers as renewed options. The renewed options help you save a little bit of money and maybe help you get into that latest and greatest feature that you've been looking into. To compare the iPhone, I'm using the 14 Pro Max, and it works very well for me. One of the good things about iPhones and Apple is, generally speaking, unless you run over it with a truck, you're going to have this unit and it's going to work very well for you. Well, for instance, I've got a iPhone 7 Plus that I bought when the iPhone 7 came out. It's still supported by iOS. They still get updates, security updates and stuff like that. But that old phone doesn't have all the capabilities of the newer phone with LiDAR and better cameras and those kinds of things, which are really important to a creator and also someone with a visual impairment. Why? On the iPhone, you can quickly use the magnifier. It'll describe items to you, doorways, stairways, and those kinds of things through the magnifier app. But we'll talk about that in another video. Just check the playlist, or just do a quick Google search, or I may even include a link in the description down below on how the magnifier application works on the iPhone and the iPad as well. Now, the first thing that we run into is, or a question that people like to ask when talking about selecting an iPhone over an iPad, is the size, the form factor. You can put this in a pocket. I always use the Pro Max for its capabilities and for the larger screen size. But it doesn't always work really well for me, especially when I am out and about and I'm looking for something that will do what I need, say, a MacBook Pro to do. I don't have to have a laptop. I can use my iPad Pro for all the stuff that I want to do. With a Bluetooth keyboard or one of the smart keyboards that Apple makes, this I can use to write notes with if I don't want to use dictation. I can also, with both devices, I can employ my little AirPods, and the AirPod will pair with whichever one that I'm using at the time, and it will help me to use VoiceOver on the iPhone or the iPad, but it comes in particularly useful for me and for a visually impaired person that uses VoiceOver when they're typing or they're crafting an article or even an email or a text for that matter. The larger keyboard and an iPad makes that simpler, makes it easier to do. And with the AirPod, helps with the privacy, because now when VoiceOver talks on either one of these devices, you'll hear it in your ear rather than it broadcasting to the whole cotton picking world around you. Now, for other folks, like my sister, she's always talking about, hey Mike, you need to talk about stuff about age-related vision loss, because she's getting up there. The old peepers aren't quite as crystal clear as they were when she was a wee lass, okay? But she likes to use her tablet as, like a lot of people do, digital books, or she reads items on the screen. She is a Samsung user just because she's been with, Android devices all of her life. That's okay. They're all kind of the same. But with the larger smartphones, I prefer the iPhone. That's what we're talking about here. It's really hard to see the screen, even if you go into accessibility and you set the text size so that you can see it very well. It takes up the whole screen on an iPhone. It makes it really cumbersome to read or to enjoy, especially if you're doing, like an audio book or a digital book kind of concept. A lot of people like to follow along as VoiceOver reads books that they downloaded for free from, say, Amazon or some of the other online, libraries. iPhone's small screen, even with a larger screen. The iPad Pro, I use the 12.9 inch because of the screen real estate, but it's not easy to carry in a pocket. What are you going to use it for? I use both of them to record video with. They both have good cameras. It's the form factor. So which is best? Depends on your need, your budget, and what you really expect from all the different features. If you're going to use the magnifier feature on these devices, you're going to need at least a generation that has the LiDAR detector, because that's what they use to judge distances and all those kinds of things. So my 7 Plus doesn't do that, but my 14 Pro Max does. I think they started doing that with maybe the 12s. So there you go. As far as budget, you don't always have to have the latest and the greatest iPhone 15 Pro Max. The important thing is, if you get it renewed, it's a few $100s cheaper than that. If you don't need all the storage, it's even cheaper than that. I always get the 512 gigs because I do a lot of video. You may not need that. 256 gig seems to be pretty normal for most people. If you don't do a lot of video, I'm sure it'll be fine. And these phones, these devices are going to last you 5-6 years, or until you get tired of carrying them. Apple's going to provide support with iOS updates, with the software update on all of them. The iPad Pro, same thing. This is it has the M1 processor in it. You may not need the M1 processor. You might need one of these babies. This is the 2015 version of the iPad Pro 12.9 inch. It still gets updates. It still works fine. The problem with this device, it's going on 8 years old now. The battery doesn't last very long. So if I'm going to use it to do any editing or any of that good stuff, I need to plug it in. But as long as I'm at the house or I've got an external battery to plug into it, it works okay. You can buy this for half the cost of this. Basically, it's kind of the same capabilities, but not. It's not got the M1 processor in it. It doesn't have the cameras. It doesn't have all the improvements that's been done to the iPad over the last 8 years, but it still functions as an e-reader. If you want to do texts, if you want to do emails or any of that kind of stuff, the old iPad works just fine. You save a lot of money. You don't have to have the latest and the greatest shiny object. You just pick one that best suits your needs, your expectations, and more importantly, your budget. Sound good? I thought it might. The stuff that we've talked about is in the description box if you want to. You can follow those links, check it out. I'll make a couple of pennies if you buy something. If not, they're there just for comparison anyway. I do the work so you don't have to. If you like this information, if you like this video, if you have some questions about anything that I've said, let me know in the comment section down below. Go ahead and share it. Give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. Thank you very much for your time. I'll catch you in the next video. Make it a good day.